All right, welcome back. It's week 9, I believe we're in finally, and we're closing out October. Next week, Friday is the 31st, so we're for the most part the last weekend in October, and we're heading to the home stretch. November. The games to remember. That's where Heisman's are won. That's where playoffs are settled, scores are settled, teams' dreams are completely blown up. Speaking of that, how's your LSU Tigers doing? Could be happier for them, right?
Yeah, I can't believe the season has. Man, it has just flown by. It's been crazy that it's moved on this fast. Yeah, you were just talking about the rankings coming out, the CFP rankings coming out. I'm like, God, man, we're already in week 9. Man, it just seems like we just started.
Yeah, it's crazy. We are it is week 9. Wow. So we got some good games coming up this weekend. We got as Kurt Signetti would say, undefeated UCLA is heading into Indiana because they're undefeated, but their new head coach. Winners of the last 3. Most people, I think, feel Indiana's going to hold court in that game. But what a crazy scene that would be if UCLA goes in there and pulls the upset. That would turn the whole season upside down. Basically, last year's the villain of the spring who quit on his team in the spring game and goes to UCLA, and they switch quarterbacks, and now he's on a 3-game winning streak. What a
Yeah,
script!
yeah, that's pretty wild. Yeah, but never know. Like you said, it's the year weird, so you never know what'll happen. But you certainly think that Indiana would be okay in this game, but at home, I think they should be able to handle business.
Yeah, yeah. Ole Miss and Oklahoma. It's a big game. It's noon. It's an 8 and a 13 if you go by the AP. But it's Lane Kiffin on the road against what really looks like when they have Natir, they play great defense. They play great defense no matter what, but with him, it's a little better. That's kind of, I think, a scary game for Ole Miss. If they don't win that game, I believe they're in somewhat of a. Let me see how I can get the SEC pulled up. I
Well,
can't
they
remember.
have one loss that would give them two.
Yeah, do they have 2 overall or 1 overall?
One.
Well, they have 1 overall, so that would be in their it's their second loss in the SEC. So that would be a real dagger in trying to get to the SEC championship game. Already behind Texas A&M and Alabama, both undefeated in the SEC. So it's a rough road. You got basically lose that one. You got to run the rest of the table just to hopefully be one of the 2-loss team going into the CFP. So they
Right.
were kind of there last year. They were one of those 3-loss teams. They didn't quite make it in, and they got to go to Oklahoma, and that should be an interesting game. And I don't know. I mean, we always talk about we lean a little bit towards the home teams if you're not sure. And, I don't know. I don't know about that one. I'm a little up in the air on OU how exactly good they are. And Ole Miss, probably much of the same, but for different reasons.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, Oklahoma's very good defensively, very solid. A couple of questions on offense, but they get their quarterback back and he's healthy. That makes them stronger that way. But certainly that defense is one of the best in the country. Ole Miss, watch them play last week. They seem to be explosive. Um, I don't know how well they are at stopping everybody. I mean, they've given up quite a few points at certain times through the season, but yeah, I mean that's a big test. Um, I think they're going to have their hands full with Oklahoma. If Oklahoma's quarterback, if he's healthy and able to do things, I can't see Ole Miss scoring a whole lot on that defense. So I'm gonna actually take Oklahoma in that game.
Yeah, was it last? It was last week. Correct me if I'm wrong. That Ole Miss lost to Georgia, right?
Right?
So that'd be like 2 in a row, and that was at Georgia, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, 2 road games in a row. Yeah, it's that's I think that's going to be tough for Ole Miss. Already having 1 loss, I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. I'm probably going to take Oklahoma in that game, being the home team. So yeah, I feel bad for Lane Kiffin, but I feel like he's going to get his second loss of the season.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough schedule. I mean it ain't like they're going in and getting losing the games that they shouldn't lose. Those are very competitive games and
Yeah,
very competitive teams. So um, yeah, I mean it kind of hurt Oklahoma when they lost their quarterback and stuff, but their defense has been exceptional all year. So Yeah, that's a big thing, at home. Great defensive team, and I'm not fully sure about Ole Miss uh,
Yeah,
offensively. Watching them, they just don't. They're always there. I've said before they're the Penn State of the SEC, but
right,
the prior Penn State, not the one we're seeing now.
right. The Franklin Penn State. No.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a real interesting game. Couple interesting games actually this week in the SEC that are going to kind of muddy the waters of how things are going to go. Where a couple teams, Georgia and Texas A&M,
Oh
pretty
yeah,
much have to take care of business to stay on there because you're going to have a couple of 2-loss teams that are that'll be right there chomping at the bit for that SEC championship. But I still think they have a good chance of making the playoffs.
Ole Miss.
Well, a 2-loss team out
Oh,
of the
2-loss
SEC.
team.
I don't know if it's
Yeah.
Ole Miss or if it's
I see what
somebody
you're
else.
saying.
The way things are going.
On one hand, like we talked about Ole Miss and Oklahoma, I guess the flip side of that is Ole Miss went into Georgia and really had their way for about 3 quarters. They had 5 straight touchdown drives. I think it was the second half before they punted. And then the fourth quarter came and everything just fell apart and Kirby flipped the script and they ended up winning by 8, scored 13 in the fourth quarter or something like that.
Yeah.
So you got to figure, okay, who's got a better defense? Is it Georgia or is it Oklahoma? 6, 7. But I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. So do they feel good about, hey, look what we did in Georgia, almost won. Let's go to OU and do it, or is OU's defense better? And now we're really behind the 8 ball. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that game plays out.
Yeah, on paper, Oklahoma's the better defense. If you
Right.
even comparing it against Georgia, they're still the better defense. Probably them and Ohio State have probably been the best 2 defenses we've seen. Texas defense has been pretty good, but they are so pitiful and everything else that it's hard to recognize that.
Yeah, I feel like if they had a little more balance and sustainability on offense, complementary football, their defense numbers would probably be better because maybe they're just out there a little bit too long.
Oh yeah, their offense is. I mean, we that Kentucky game.
Right.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that offense is just not getting anything whatsoever going.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Ohio State's off this week. Alabama travels to South Carolina. Certainly, that game on the schedule earlier in the year looked like one. Yeah, now you're thinking, okay, the way they're playing, Alabama should hold serve, and I don't have any reason, but I think they won't. No offense to South Carolina. Things just haven't happened for them this year the way people thought they would. But that's a broken record. I mean, there's a lot of teams that, Penn State, LSU, Clemson. I mean, a lot of teams that thought they were going to have a whole lot of different seasons than they're having. So that's just the way it goes. But after that first game, Alabama, they sure have on a run. I mean, what was the first time SEC team has won 4 straight SEC ranked games without a bye? I think I heard that this week. So
yeah, that's in that game, I'll tell you what, that's a trap game for Alabama. South Carolina plays Alabama tough. They have last year they had Alabama beat. They fumbled the football and they ended up losing 27-25. And a lot of people felt like South Carolina should have won that game, but Alabama was able to pull it out by 2 points. And going back in there today, tomorrow, going to South Carolina with probably a little chip on their shoulder because things haven't gone so well. But now they're like, okay, well, you know what? We can knock off, one of the top 5 teams in the country right now. We've done it before, and we played them tough last year. So, they're going to do that. I think that's going to be a heck of a lot better game than people think it is.
Yeah, it being a 3:30 kick, I've kind of liked that for Alabama, not having to go there at night under the lights with all that pageantry and listen to the fan base go nuts, because that South Carolina can be pretty crazy if they're rolling. So, and you're very right. Everything you said happened last year. Alabama looks like a different team this year, but week to week, man, you just never know. So you just got to show up every week,
right,
and play tough. Or like you said, South Carolina, nothing to lose. Just go out there and throw everything they got at you and try to spoil your season, or at least make your season more interesting.
Certainly that's what all they have left. So why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Another interesting SEC game. Missouri go on the road to Vanderbilt. and that's where game day is going to be. And Vanderbilt is undefeated in SEC. I think they might be undefeated all the way around. No, Vanderbilt got to be by actually these teams both have one loss. They're both Alabama. That's
Yeah,
right.
they lost to Alabama.
So both of them. So these are the Alabama, the one lossers as we call them. And I think that should be a heck of a game. Like I said, game day is there. I think the first time they've been to Vanderbilt, if I'm not mistaken. Drinkowitz got a good team, and but game like this again, I just kind of go with the home team. Vanderbilt's, I think, rolling just a little bit better. They're only ranked higher by like 5, if that matters. I think if it was in Missouri, I'd probably go with Missouri. So I'll just go with the home team.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. Vandy actually, kind of surprised me last week. What they were at LSU, I believe. Now they kind of surprised me. I had took LSU in that game, with their back against the wall and all that, and they were, they're able to go in there and take care of business. So that was pretty impressive for Vandy. But Alabama's loss is not in the SEC.
Right.
So
yeah.
They don't have a loss in the SEC. But anyways, that's another really interesting game. I'm not sure what to think about that game, to be honest with you. I would say Vandy, because they are at home. But since you picked them, I guess I'm going to have to go with Missouri, just to mix it up a little bit. But,
yeah, obviously, whoever comes out of this game, it'll be a good win, and there's still going to be a one-loss team, along with, depending on what happens this week, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Texas. So it'll be interesting to see if either any of those teams can suffer another loss. Kind of makes the SEC a little more, a little more clear. But yeah, I think that should be a good dogfight game. The way both those teams love to run the football, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes in Nashville of all places. There's BYU's got kind of a tough one at Iowa State. Iowa State started off the season really nice, and then they've taken a couple losses and find themselves right back out of the top 25. But
they had lots of injuries. They had some really unfortunate injuries to key people on that team. I don't know if they're back yet or not, but they need them back if they're going to be continue to be competitive, because without those, and it was an extraordinary number of people that they had out, like 8 or 9 people and like 4 or 5 key starters. So
I think both corners are out a couple weeks ago, and I think it's when I picked somebody to beat them, and I think that's the week it was.
Cincinnati.
Did I pick them, or did they? I know Cincinnati beat them. I was shocked.
Beat them, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when I've seen the report of how beat up they were and all that stuff. So I don't know if they're back to healthy yet or not. So
I'm going out on a limb at Iowa State, unranked, playing BYU. Vegas has Iowa State as favored in this game by like 2.5, which is really nuts. What do they know that we don't know? I'm going with Vegas. You don't have to pick this game if you don't want, but I just kind of seen this on the schedule earlier this week, and I'm going to take Iowa State on a huge upset, really shuffling up the Big 12 by knocking off BYU.
Yeah, very, very possible. Like I said, I don't know what their situation is as far as injuries and stuff go. If they're healthy, most certainly, they're very, very capable of doing that.
No doubt.
BYU, I just can't. I'm not all that impressed with them. But they keep winning, so.
Yep, they seem like even like last year, they won 7 in a row, and then I think they went into the 8th game, if you will, because they had to bye and lost. So it just seems like they're always right for a loss, and it's usually a team you don't think they're going to lose to. They beat Utah in the Holy War. I think this is a letdown game. Played crazy last week. And I think they're going on the road, Big 12, Iowa State. I think Dan Campbell's going to find a way to come out with that victory. I'd rather take that one than try to take Wisconsin or Oregon. There's no way I'm taking that.
Yeah. Right.
Or Stanford at Miami.
Yeah.
Stanford at Miami is the cheapest ticket. I told you about the cheap tickets. $6 to get into Stanford at Miami tomorrow night. That's all you got to have. $6.
That's cheap.
No doubt. So you mentioned LSU earlier, and them losing last week to Ole Miss. No, Ole Miss. Vandy. It was Vanderbilt. And now they're hosting again, and it's at night, which is crazy in Death Valley, undefeated A&M.
Yeah,
So that's a big one.
it is.
And I'm honestly, I just don't feel like LSU's got it this year, or whatever that it is. And I just feel like A&M's going to get the win.
Well, A&M has to come in and get a good start, quiet that crowd down a little bit, because I mean, if they do that, the way things have gone for LSU, heck, that crowd's liable to turn on their own team.
Yeah.
But I'll say what I said last week. LSU, they said their back was against the wall, and I thought that they would show up and play pretty well. Well, they didn't. So maybe this is their week to do that. If not, boy, all of a sudden Brian Kelly's on the hot seat, and things are just really went south for LSU.
Yeah, if their backs were against the wall last week, I don't know where they're at now, but there might be they might wake up with a chalk outline around them.
Well, that's very, very well possible. I think at night. I mean, surely they bound to show. I think two teams that I'm thinking this week that they're bound to show up sooner or later. One is South Carolina, and the other one is LSU. I mean, they have the people, they have the the talent. Just things just haven't gone all that well for them.
Yep.
South Carolina, a lot of turnovers and this and that. So that's why I look for them to have a really close game with Alabama and LSU. I'll say the same thing about them. I think eventually you would think that they would put things together, but maybe not. I would like to see Texas A&M win this game, come in and just end LSU's season completely. But I don't know, man. I'm going to take LSU in a big upset here.
Yeah, it's what I was like. My mind, I just lost my train of thought for a second. But it's like if not win. Some people are saying they got 2 words for Brian Kelly, and it's Penn State. So I don't. LSU they seem like they were better last year. What was it last week? Or no, a few weeks ago when they beat Florida, they didn't look good beating Florida. Florida just looked awful, throwing interceptions like crazy.
Oh yeah.
So now maybe this is the week they just come out and I tell you what, if LSU's got making the game of it with A&M, that'll be something to watch. That'll everybody be flipping over to it because that's Death Valley at night. But yeah, LSU has got to show up in this one, and if it could be ugly for my Brian Kelly if they don't. There's no doubt.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And Texas A&M, I just another team that just keeps winning, keeps putting things together. Playing well, quarterback playing well, but I just, with the way things have gone for them, they've had some huge wins. I really don't know. I'd like to see them against a Georgia or an Alabama, something like that to really get a little bit better judge of exactly where they're at. I mean, they're certainly the best team in Texas. I mean, no question about that. But So yeah, I mean, I would love to see Texas A&M keep it rolling and head out of Baton Rouge with a big win. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think A&M trying to pull the rest of their schedule now. It's not playing dirty with me, but I don't think it's all that bad. But they feel not exactly. I think it's because they're not Big 12, but almost like that one year where we were just thinking TCU, it's not going to last. A&M, I kind of feel like I'm waiting for the wheels to come off, and I really don't know why. Because Elko's a good coach, and they're playing great, and they do have. If one thing they got there, they got money in the players. The coffers were not empty when they got rid of Jimbo Fisher, so it's not hard to believe. But they just hadn't done it in so long, or since they've been to the SEC. That's for sure. They're old Big 12 team, so it'll be interesting. But it's going to really, if they get past this game, it's going to get to when they get to the SEC championship game. If they win that, then you really got to start taking them big time seriously. You got to take them seriously now anyways, but that's when they probably step it up. Kind of like Indiana also. Indiana plays real good football. I mean, real good. We both know that. They need to win the Big Ten. They don't have to win it, but it'd be good for them to win the Big Ten, beat Ohio State, if that's who it is. It's probably going to be this year for sure. And then win a CFP game, and then maybe everybody get off their back on being, one and done kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely agree. So, and there's always a team every year that you and I both are just waiting for the wheels to fall off. They're going to get beat.
Yep.
I
Yep.
can't remember who the one year, but I think it was maybe Boise State. And last year it was somebody else. So we kept thinking, no way, no way. And that's, I guess, that's our Texas A&M this year, which is just kind of waiting to see if that's going to happen or not. But I mean, hats off to them. They keep getting it done.
Yeah, I mean, when they went in and beat Notre Dame, I was thinking more of, okay, Notre Dame's just not going to be it this year versus how great A&M may be. And then it's turned out Notre Dame, I think Notre Dame looks like they looked really good against USC. But is that an indictment of USC or is that a compliment of Notre Dame? We'll find out. It's going to be interesting. A couple things here. In the ACC, you got Georgia Tech and Virginia both undefeated in conference, and you got Miami with one loss in conference at Louisville last week, as we saw. So you run the possibility of you get the two undefeated teams in the ACC championship game. Miami is left out. One of them wins, one loses, and who do you put in? Because is the ACC really going to get two in, or even three for that matter? Where it looks like the Big Ten with Penn State going in the tubes, they probably only going to get three in. Ohio State and Indiana, whoever loses the Big Ten championship, they both get there. In Oregon, after that, the best case scenario potentially is Illinois, who's lost to both Ohio State and Indiana, and that's their only two losses. Are they going to be better than two-loss Notre Dame or a two-loss SEC team that played better competition? A lot of interesting things going to go down the next few weeks.
Yeah, I think so.
But I don't know if we got any other games that we wanted to mention. Good games, but and obviously the teams that aren't Georgia Tech, they don't want to lose against Syracuse. But they could. Alabama, you mentioned already with South Carolina, Miami, Stanford. I really don't think that's going to happen, but I didn't think they'd beat whoever they beat last week. Who not the Stanford got beat? Oh boy! Oh my gosh! Florida State. We need a whole day on Florida State talking about how they haven't won a game in like 400 days in the ACC or something. It's unreal. And they're going. Are they playing this weekend? I think they're off this weekend. Yeah, they are off this weekend, so they won't lose this weekend. So
yeah.
yeah.
Kind of talking about the wheels coming off. Everything's came off on that team.
Yeah. They say they're going to stick with Norvell and decide at the end of the year, and Wisconsin doing the same thing. I think they should give Luke a little more time in Wisconsin. They're supposed to dump some money into the system, get some players. He's had some bad luck at quarterback. 3 years in a row as number one quarterback coming out of camp ends the season. But all the good teams, you got to make sure we got to have somebody else back there. So,
yeah,
that's the way it goes. So, who knows? But so, how's your shoulder, real quick?
It's hanging in there. It's a little pretty sore. Still working on that.
Cool.
Watching this match back here behind me is what I keep looking at.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll definitely look to do a recap show on Sunday night like we did last week. Talk about everything we said right and wrong. Good games. You're definitely at noon. You got Ole Miss and Oklahoma, like we mentioned, Indiana and UCLA. And then the 3 o'clock hour, obviously Alabama is on the road to South Carolina. That's always a tough one. Missouri and Vanderbilt, that's where game day is. I think BYU and Iowa State look good. Even Illinois going to Washington. If Illinois loses that, they can just kiss the CFP goodbye. They're going to be skating in there anyways. And then the nightcap, obviously, we got the 4 o'clock. UC is hosting Baylor. That should be nice for UC if they get that win. But A&M and LSU. And then, of course, Michigan State. That's more of a regional thing, but I always, just like anything, I always go for the team that's going against Michigan. So go State.
Yeah. Well, there's nobody would have thought that game day would be at Vanderbilt and Missouri.
No doubt.
I would have never thought that, but that's two programs that are playing really well this year. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Should be a good game. Could be 3-3. Who knows?
Yep.
All right, so enjoy the games tomorrow, and we'll see you all here hopefully Sunday evening for another recap. And don't forget, and we're talking about doing a show a week from Tuesday, right after the CFP announces the top 25. We'll get on here and shred it, tell you what we think. So
okay.
So it sounds good. Alrighty, enjoy the games tomorrow, everybody. Give us a like on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and hit the bells, notifications, and all that. And enjoy the game.